I was just thinking just now that pastor that we used to have, he said he used to have to attend a church when he was younger. He was a kid. He was kind of taken to church. He said one time that he saw someone get up to preach and they didn't even have a Bible.
Right.
That's something, isn't it?
Yes, I've heard preachers do that.
Yeah,
They preach you a message, make hair stand on your head.
yeah,
I know the pastor that he could quote a whole chapter and bring a message and repeat that for a whole chapter. You could read with him; he wouldn't miss a word of that.
it's something, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
But man, he loved his money, and he'd work. He owned a taxi cab service for years,
yeah.
and the pastor church would get a lot of money. Now he's making a lot from that cab service,
Well,
and he wore a suit jacket. You know what I'm talking about?
yeah,
A tall blazer,
yeah,
and he carried change in his pocket, like where he got change from people riding a taxi cab.
yeah.
And he'd be rattling that change all the time. He was a preaching or reading from the scripture.
Well,
People had to hear that change in his pocket rattle. I hope it wasn't
crazy.
held against him.
Yeah. Then there's some that probably could.
And one time he went to this sale. This old lady died.
Uh huh.
I know her well. My mama sat with her quite a while before she passed away, the old lady.
Yeah.
And he bought some canned goods, canned fruit jars. She'd had them so long, the lids were rusty. You could stick your finger in them. He bought them, took them home.
Okay.
He said he's going to feed them to the hogs.
Oh.
But somebody told me, he said, no hogs won't get them. I said, he'll eat them.
Crazy.
And the one that said that was my first cousin.
Uh huh.
He knowed him well,
Yeah.
more than I did. He said there won't be a piece of that unless he spills it, go to the hog.
Yeah.
He thought he'd saving money. He wouldn't have to buy him any groceries.
Yeah. I get as they say, I would get sicker than a dog. You know.
Right.
Yeah.
I got sick just thinking about it.
Yeah.
I tell you what, I'd like to have a good jar, them old-fashioned green beans like we used to can up.
Yeah.
And were they good in the wintertime?
Yeah.
And they were well seasoned. They wasn't like what you get out of the store.
That's right. I wish I had a way to send you some.
Bought away and eat the home can.
Yeah. Yeah, there's nothing like snapping them fresh from the garden and cooking them, you know?
Right.
Put some bacon
Throw
in
some
there.
taters and the meat in the pot and cook with them.
Yeah. We mostly put bacon in them, but boy, is it good, you know?
Yeah, they were good.
Yeah. Well,
A little
anyway.
cold glass of milk to go with it.
Yeah.
Most times you had to have more than one glass.
Yeah. Anyway, I think this preacher, he got up and he never said a word from the Bible. That's not good, you know?
No, that ain't good. This old man I used to stay with, him and his wife, they're both gone now.
Yeah.
He said years ago they went down, they was going to start a revival down in Tennessee. And you heard of a town called Palmouth, Tennessee.
I think I have. Yeah.
Anyway, down in that area.
Yeah.
And a man got up to preach, open up the service. He said he was dressed like you'd never seen. Said it looked like a fly light on his clothes and fall off and be so slick and shiny.
Wow.
And said he couldn't try to talk, didn't feel nothing, couldn't feel a thing.
Uh-huh.
And the elderly man got up a pair of just plain old overall.
Yeah.
He testified, said the spirit fell in that church. A revival broke out, and the one in the overhaul took care of the revival.
Yeah, something.
It's something.
Yeah.
But I sat right across the table from a man that's supposed to be a preacher, and I said, I don't know why I said it, but I said it. I said, because a man wears a suit and tie don't make him a preacher.
That's right.
I said, he won't make him one. I said, he has to be God called, then he'll be a preacher.
Yeah.
Not what he wears.
Yeah.
He looked at him real straight, but he didn't say anything.
I still remember this one night in church that, you know, we were just about to start the service and it was testimony time, and I think we were just about the last chance, and something came to me to say, and I said it, and next thing you know, the whole church broke out in testimony.
Yeah.
Pretty much, you know.
Sometimes it takes one.
Yeah. Sometimes people had, you know, they got up 2 or 3 times or something, you know, to say something. And next thing I looked at the clock, and it was about the time the service ended, and I'm sitting there like, what have I started? You know? It was really God doing that, you know?
Yeah.
People were crying and stuff, you know?
See, the Spirit's got a way of moving.
Yes.
But if it's been hindered, when one is free to it, it'll release that Spirit.
Yes.
One person can hinder it,
Yes.
and one person can make it come forth.
Yes. I could have kept my mouth shut, and none of that would have happened, you know?
And you lost the blessing somewhere.
Yes. I still think of that quite often, even though it's been like 10 or more years ago, you know?
I understand that.
And I've never seen anything like that in that church.
Let me tell you something. A while ago, it happened to me. Now, well, I'll say good night.
All right.
Got a cat in the house. She's had her surgery and everything.
Okay.
And she's bad to hop up on the end my chair where I sit.
Uh-huh.
This is the homemade chair I made.
Yeah.
And I was drinking a bottle of good cold water.
Oh.
Got a tablespoon, and I poured some of that cold water in that spoon. She drank it.
Well,
she drank about 4 tablespoonfuls of water out of that spoon for me.
Yeah, that's something.
I get me a drink, and I pour her some in that spoon.
Oh.
And while she was drinking, I get me another drink. She got through, I give her some more.
Well. We had a cat that, yeah, we have a cat that's kind of bad to get her feed and stuff, and I was at the kitchen sink, and I flicked my wet fingers at it, and she went, brrr, and running away, you know? She's got a way of chirping. It's interesting to hear. She'll take off running, and it's like, whoop, you know? I can't even really describe it.
When I had teeth, I could meow just exactly like a cat.
Could you?
And one day I was having some people strip tobacco, getting the tobacco ready for market. I catch a had their head turned. And I meow like a cat. I had every one of them. There's about 10 of us in there. Every one of them looked all day for that cat.
Well,
And never did find it. And as we all quit and started leaving, going home, the old man with the working for, he had crippled, he had to sit on a bale of hay or he couldn't work. And I showed him I was one meowing like a cat. He said, "How can you do that?" I said, "Ain't no trouble." And I used to could holler like a crow.
well.
And I called up to me. And he was driving a tractor with a corn picker. And I was riding back of the wagon pulling that corn back away.
Yeah.
He kind of leveled up. I got to hollering like a crow. But I never would have let him see me doing it. He got to looking around all that cornfield. He looked out in the woods, along the side where the cornfield was. All day long, he looked for that crow.
That's something.
He never did find it.
Well.
And when we quit, he told his oldest son. He said, "Have you been seeing here any crows around?" He said, "No, I haven't heard no crows." He said, "They've been hollering supposed to me like they're in my wagon or somewhere." Said, "I can't see them." Said, "If they went in the wagon, I'd see them." He said, "They ain't in the woods or I'd see them." I finally let him hear me holler like a crow. He nicknamed me, called me Crow after that.
You know, I still remember this one time. I think I was in kindergarten. It was nap time, and I never did sleep hardly during those nap times. And so I crawled up under the table and started making a strange noise. And I remember the teacher and the teacher's aide pointing, "That's a strange noise, you know. That's weird noise." But they never did look and see what it was, you know.
Used to be, when I was growing up, a lot of it in my later years, while I still had plenty of teeth, about any kind of bird I heard holler, I could imitate it.
Well.
And one time, my oldest brother next to me was helping my daddy saw some wood
Uh-huh.
to burn in the fireplace in the cooking stove. And had a crosscut saw. I wasn't big enough to pull the saw, but my brother was.
Yeah.
And I heard a ring crow holler. I got to answering it. My brother got the laughing so hard he couldn't saw wood.
Well.
My daddy told me, he said, "You hush up and you go to the house."
Huh.
And I hushed. If I hadn't went to the house, he'd have kept on laughing.
Yeah.
And one time, I'll tell you this and I'll go.
All right.
He'd got him a bicycle. And I was riding up front home to the handlebars. And you know how a lizard was sit on his back leg, he'd lift up in front and go back down, lift up in front, go back down.
Yeah.
And I said to him, "This is what a lizard does." I started doing that on that bicycle. He left the road and went out in the woods and laughing.
Well, I can't really think of anything else.
It's amazing little things we can think of we hadn't thought about in years.
Yeah.
You get to thinking a little bit.
Yeah.
And one boy, I took a slingshot to school. Was supposed to have them, but what I done, I forgot it and left it in my pocket,
Oh,
my back pocket.
yeah.
I didn't get caught with it. On
Well,
the way home, I had it in my hand. That one boy, he said, "How do you hit anything with it?" I said, "You side with it."
huh,
I said, "You stick your thumb up in the middle of that fork, like a fork in a,
yeah,
slingshot,
yeah.
a fork and stick." And I said, "Pull that back, side be your thumb." And he did. The rock hit his thumbnail.
Uh,
I mean, hit something good. If I knew what I wouldn't, but the boy like, I just told him, I said, "Put your thumb up in that fork and take sight by it." I can hit about anything I shot at.
yeah. Reminds me of the time that Dad hung some pop cans in the tree limbs, and Mom, he asked Mom to shoot the gun a little bit. She shot the tree limb.
Well, I'll say good night. God bless. Lord willing, we'll get back in another chapter tonight. I
Yeah,
can't wait to get into it. I could rest 5 minutes and start again.
yeah, yeah. We ought to start trying to record some more in advance.
Yeah, we need to.
Yeah,
If we can start a little bit earlier,
yeah,
we can figure out a time.
yeah. Of course,
Maybe come on, make one, wait a little while, and then come back,
yeah,
make another one.
yeah. Maybe we'll try in the middle of the day sometime.
Right.
Yeah. Well, you get that new tablet set up, and I can call you because I think it'll come through no matter what.
And I think it's gonna make a good picture
Yes,
where I can record on it.
yes, I believe it will
If
too.
it just record on it, I know I can.
Yeah,
I had it turned on a while ago. It showed a big picture.
yes,
But I'm gonna have to learn it.
yeah. I understand.
Sometimes I'm a slow learner, and
Yeah,
I can't move my fingers fast as some people can. That's another advantage.
I know. And, some of these people, they can grab these phones and they can do this number
Yeah.
and type. I can't not
I
do that.
can't do it.
Yeah,
I got them crippled fingers on one hand. Actually, all four of them are.
yeah,
That's my best. It's really twisted bad. Two middle ones got metal joints in them,
yeah,
and the little finger, it joints frozen on it.
yeah. You can see this one now that how swelled that is, that joint. Arthritis is not fun.
No, it's not. And I got that what they call rheumatoid arthritis
Yeah,
in my hand.
that's one of the worst
I've
kinds.
got
I
to get
think.
that gout.
Yeah.
Gout was why I lost them two middle fingers.
Well.
Actually, I was wrong with a little finger, but I didn't know it at the time.
Well. Oh, you got
No,
to
my doctor didn't scrape the bone.
yeah. Now you got to do stuff like watch what you eat with gout. And
I used to think that, but it don't matter anymore. It's like something like sugar.
yeah,
It can lay dormant for years, always it'll show up. It's hereditary.
yeah,
Maybe somebody's family back several years ago could have had it, and
Yeah.
I got it.
yeah,
I've asked several doctors. He said they used to think that, but he said it ain't.
that's something.
But I still trying to watch what I eat and how much.
Yeah,
I think a lot of it is the chemicals we get in our meats and things we eat today.
That's right.
You can't buy no vegetables unless the chemicals there.
Yeah.
Unless it be a cucumber.
Yeah. Now people are being diagnosed with fatty liver disease in about 20s and 30s, you know.
Right.
I know it's one of them, you know. Now there's a thing about a lawsuit on there if you got diagnosed with certain things because supposedly because of food additives, you know, before your like your 18th birthday or something like that, you know, that's just crazy, you know, really, in my opinion.
Right.
You know, a lot of these additives, they should just never been there in the first place.
Right.
Yeah. Now they're supposedly trying to get them out, but I bet they'll put them right back in sooner or later.
And some of these pills the doctor gives us is coated with stuff.
Yeah.
That coating would tire you up big time.
Yeah.
It'll help you one way, it'll hurt you the other way.
Yeah.
And I've got acid reflux. I take an acid pill, 40 milligrams twice a day.
Well.
They said if you got acid reflux, don't sleep on your back. Don't sleep on your left side, because you add more pressure to your heart.
Strange, you know.
Yeah, it is.
That,
Doctors try to scare people.
yeah. I'm kind of a side sleeper. I have to sleep on my left side or my right side, you know.
Right.
And I have to put a pillow under my arm because my shoulder sometimes.
I tell you what, it helps. Put a little pillow between your knees when you sleep of a night.
Yeah.
You ever tried that?
I have a body pillow that I put between my knees.
That helps.
Yeah.
A good night and God bless.
Yeah. Good night. God bless you too.